Welcome
Madam Chair,
back.
I would,
Welcome back to our Monday, April 28th morning meeting. Director Klingon,
Morning.
give us good news.
Oh, I wish I had some. No, I mean we're with the weather, and I met with Dee Dee last week Melissa and Dee Dee up at the annex because Melissa's wanting the property lines because she wants to expand her garden. But I was just looking on the GSI maps, and I don't think she can do what she wants to do without. And I can't, I don't know really exact property lines are up there, out the back. But I was just looking at it, and it looks like the property line runs right behind the enclosed area that the police department has stuff stored in, and I think that's about as far east she can go. But anyway, and then I met with Dee Dee. Went over, getting the tree trimmed back so you can see the deal, and doing some signage and stuff, or lettering and things, changes up there. She just stopped by. I know she was volunteering to pay for it, but Doug, you said there's funds we could use, or just look at coming out of my maintenance budget to do that.
Madam Chairman, Commissioner Scott,
Mm-hmm.
what she had indicated is that she was going to purchase some flowers.
Oh, okay.
I just indicated that you do have
Oh no, I have landscaping. Yeah,
landscaping
Yeah.
budget that could be
Okay.
utilized for.
Mhm. She thought it was the lettering and stuff, but okay, that clears that up for me. And we got the letter from DEQ, and I think I forwarded what I got. Travis sent to me on Saturday. It kind of included some of the inspection, but he referenced the DEQ.
Was he communicating with them? I mean, I don't think the commissioner should be
I don't
in
know
the
why
middle of
they
that
keep sending it
communication.
directly to you, and I will have to ask him why they keep, because my understanding they had a pretty good rapport with DEQ and Central District Health, so I'm not quite sure what's going on.
I don't want to be in the middle of that conversation and
Yeah,
mess something up with that.
yeah.
Or they just
I've dealt with them both in the past quite a bit, and it's
We're on
kind of their
camera.
game, and they make it up as they go if they want to, and you get good agents, and you, just like anything else, you get arrogant ones. I've got the authority, and I can make you jump,
Yep.
and stuff, like inspectors and stuff. But so it's kind of in their court. They've got to come up with a kind of a solution because everything hinges on that temporary, location. So I'm
So
not.
Travis is working on it,
Yeah.
and he knows that. So
What's
what
that?
That he is in communication.
Yeah,
with
they're.
DEQ
I mean,
to get this
they're the one who've
resolved.
got to come up with a design that is acceptable by them. I know he alluded to wanting, maybe additional funds for design work, but I think that's kind of the original contract, that they're supposed to design a pad, and if their first one didn't work, it's not our fault. They need to charge us to design another one. But there may be additional costs if we have to go with concrete or a paved surface or something, But,
That's understandable.
yeah.
But yeah, they should have designed something that they knew was going to work and had been approved.
I think they, through their contact, because we had a Zoom meeting with Central District Health and DEQ, and I think they kind of felt that it would fly what they were trying to do, but obviously I'm not sure. I don't think that Beth, who's the one that writes these letters, was involved in the Zoom meeting with someone else from DEQ. That's kind of where we're at right there.
Please keep us in the loop to let us know it's been resolved.
Yeah, I will.
know
As soon as I hear anything, I will let you
so
guys know.
Scott, all that, any waters that were like in the building
Mhm.
that ran out,
Mhm.
were they going into a catch basin or going into that tank? What?
That
Is
was-
that
there's-
what
that's
they're-
one of the things with that? They're alluding to our temporary up there where the influence are going to go.
And they're wanting to know
But
where those
the old
waters-
building, it used to go to the trench drain, and the trench
Mhm.
drain has not been functioning since I came here. And I've seen it run out the front and across the pavement and
Oh yeah.
and stuff. So the new one, the design now is the floor inside the building will slope back towards the pit where they load, and they're on the design. You see there's a catch basin under the scale, and then there's a tank which will have to be pumped because there's no leaching field or anything for that type of material.
all that runoff, and that's kind of what DEQ's talking about up on that temporary site.
If we have it and it leaching into the ground, they address it. They're going to test the soil, and any contaminated soil would probably be hauled to, you're hauling from one place to another landfill, but where Clay Peak's aligned, landfill, it could go there, not.
Right.
Yeah. So, like I say, we're just trying to come up with something that they'll accept, because, like I say, taking that building down hinges on having them,
Oh, yeah.
someplace to load. And
They don't have a choice.
They would have to take the contaminated soil, though. I mean, heaven only knows how deep that would be.
mm-hmm.
So now you're messing with that upper pad that we don't have a huge upper pad anyway.
Yeah, I don't know if, like I say, it would just be testing how far we go, over the 2-month period. I'm gonna meet with Allison, because she's got like 48 pigs this year, and so she doesn't have near enough room to handle them all. So she gonna try to meet with her, ask if she can meet tomorrow after lunch, because she's wanting to clear some space out down there, try and come up with some more room for pigs and things, and then meet with her on some rebuilding of pens and stuff down there.
Although they may have to limit the number of pigs.
That's that's the kind of thing. I mean, not everybody, we have a set enough room, and that's first come, first serve. And
Exactly.
because I know having raised hogs, it's real easy to stick. They don't take a lot of room, so everybody and his brother can do a pig. It's pretty easy, but there's got to be a quota. We've got this X amount of space, because they really got, especially that time of year, they've got to have shade. Because a pig, you stick him out in the sun for half an hour, and he'll die if he doesn't have shade and stuff. So, yeah, they've kind of got to say, okay, we're gonna have X number of pigs, because this is what we have the room for. And then I hate to see a 4-H participant not be able to participate because they don't have the animal they want. But
And that's unfortunate too, because they've already been issued all of that. They've already done all their weigh-ins. So this
Yeah.
year, kind of underway.
yeah, this year we'll come
we
up with some
are kinda what we
solution for
are.
them somewhere. Especially like I say, they gotta have cover, and they gotta have water, and with the temperatures and stuff. I think what else we're working on.
I
We're
need to
just
sit
getting
down.
ready for spring. Trying to get things cleaned up around here. Mitch is gone one more week, and then he'll be back, so we'll be back to full staff again. I'll be gone the weeks of the 12th and the 19th of May. My granddaughter graduates from high school in Gillette, so
Oh, nice.
we're gonna, like I was telling Oki, we're gonna kind of take 2 weeks and do a diners, drive-ins, and dive tour around, stop at places, and then
Now
go
you're
to-
just making me jealous.
yeah, gotta go clear to Rapid City so I can go to the ramen place over there. Have one guy, but yeah, and then we're gonna go to Cody Museum and stuff for a couple days. But yeah, we're just trying to. I've got a bid on the for new. It's a single stack, 50-pound washer dryer for the jail. So I think we can do it. It'll be right at. They have budgeted for capital, and they have to take some out of the maintenance to get the gas line and ductwork done, but it'll be close. But at least that will solve their issues with the old equipment. And these are a step above your laundromat. These are actual commercial or institutional washers and dryers and stuff. So working on that.
Need to
things,
sit
so.
down with you.
Mhm.
I'm gonna need help on the annex.
Okay.
All of those interior walls.
Mm-hmm.
All of this stuff that's temporary.
Mhm.
Getting together with a company that, I don't know. I'm not familiar enough with all of this stuff
Mhm.
to feel comfortable. So I know
Yeah.
you're slammed, but I'm gonna need some help.
No, that's fine. Last week, I don't know what happened because Clearwater published an invitation for bid.
So they had two things that they published. One
Mhm.
was a summary, and they put that in there. They wasn't in the RFP,
Mm-hmm.
so I didn't know about it.
Yeah.
And so unfortunately, they kind of had egg on their face. But
Yeah, because they had a walkthrough. We had 2 contractors show up, and
And I don't know who the other one was to even get back to him.
No, because they one was Dalrymple who's doing the, up there. They showed up, and then they said Arnie let them in, so they were walking around kind of measuring things and stuff. And they said someone pulled up, tried the door, they didn't let them in, and then they sat there and had a cup of coffee and then left. So
It wasn't a mandatory walkthrough, and they are republishing in this week's paper some information.
okay,
So, and offering an additional walkthrough. So
yeah,
they will let me know if somebody
Yeah.
needs to be there.
Should be able to get a bunch of contractors up here.
yeah.
Not doing much.
Yeah,
Just be a quick little
depends on
in
what.
and out.
Yeah,
No.
well, put the word out.
I
I
talked
think
with
it's due by May
Yeah.
9th.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, to get together with somebody so that Correctional Institute that builds all the furniture.
Mhm.
I really like to see if they would be interested in doing this, and then also building us a diaspora up here,
Okay.
new cabinet up here. But I just looked on their website. I mean, there's really nobody specific to get a hold of. So,
Mhm.
but I don't know if they come up after the permanent walls are built, because I mean, if you're off by inches,
Yeah.
that could be a real problem.
I contacted them earlier about desks when we started looking at wanting to get a uniform desk, and they're kind of expensive.
Okay,
But
good to know.
but they, I'll see if I can go back and find who I had to contact with there, because I did request information from them.
Well, if they're expensive, we don't need to use them, but I just don't have the time to go through and
Yeah.
and do all of this. So I have to have somebody help.
Yeah, and I don't, like I say, this is kind of what the layout is. If it's you're gonna want to do like the Herman Miller cubicles, or what we're gonna do for the assessors, or
I
the,
think we need to start that conversation as quickly as possible, because
Okay.
once those permanent walls are built,
Mhm.
then we just need, I mean, I would assume that somebody's gonna need time to construct these.
Yeah.
And so I don't wanna wait 6 months for somebody to have time to construct them.
yeah, if we're gonna have them constructed, or if we can buy
Pre-made
pre-made,
or what.
Herman Miller's pretty expensive stuff. Actually, Brett's the one to talk to, because that's what he had business. He did
Yeah.
he did office
Maybe
setups
we
like
could
that.
call him into a meeting with us and
Yeah,
visit about it.
And see if
Unfortunately, I'm
there's-
not here on Wednesday again, but
there's a competitor out there, something that's the Herman Miller that's just as good or cheaper.
Yeah.
Stuff.
if you
and
could
then-
ask him, maybe get some ideas for places to look.
Yeah.
But we do need to start that conversation.
Okay. And then I talked with the PA's office down there, where our janitorial staff's going to take over for Nelson down there, Nuclear Nelson, taking over the cleaning here. And then Ryan was asking me, or talking with him about taking over Alpha down there, from what us, just to take it over the buildings and grounds to maintain it and stuff. So,
I would say we take it over, but
okay.
my personal opinion.
Yeah, because I think it's about $130 a week for him to do the mowing and the irrigation and everything and stuff down there. But
I don't know what Alpha's getting paid, so
it was a lot more than that, I understand, from what Kathleen told me. But and then, like I say, we got things laid out. They drilled they did samples of the parking lot last week. Dan had some people come up. We located all the utilities and stuff out in the parking lot, and so they can start working on engineering the parking lot and stuff. So
perfect.
I'm sure there's more, but I can't think of anything right at the moment.
And I've got a lady that has asked for what we need from them. It's what name of the place? I think it's Jacobs Engineering. And I'm asking them for a traffic study. And we talked about needing a flow through there. So I was the one that worked to get Dan to do those core samples, because I think that's really what we needed to start with. And then we can figure out the main parking lot. But this company can then do some kind of a flow analysis to figure out how to get people through there and what we're going to need as far as the DMV
Okay.
and then that lower parking lot.
Okay.
He's working on that.
And Mara and I are meeting with Ken Hollins tomorrow
Oh, good.
at 9 to kind of go over.
Are you going to meet with them too? That would be good for you if you can. That's the guy from A Humankind on the waste. And Woody
Oh,
Biomass.
yeah. I'd
Yeah, I'm
like
supposed to meet him at Mara's office at 9 tomorrow.
9 o'clock tomorrow.
That would be,
What's that?
9 o'clock tomorrow down,
At the Lake Fork, or Lake, yeah.
go down to Lake Fork Shop.
Yeah, where Mara's office is there for,
9 a.m.
he wants to come and do a full presentation to the commissioners, but he's got things that he needs to resolve first before he shows up here for a full presentation, so I've already met with him. Neil really needs to hear from what his concepts are before we make final decisions on that landfill, so.
yeah. Because it's really, we can't go any more east up on the upper deck because it's a cap landfill. That was one thing DEQ was really, we cannot disturb the cap on it. And then what we're doing right now for the improvements, that's about used up all the space and stuff we can up there. And if we continue growing the way we are with all the subdivisions that have been improved and stuff that are going to be adding more to it up there.
We gotta figure out a way to not add more to it up there.
Yeah.
Repurpose some of this before it gets there.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Questions?
I got, yep.
Sounds like you had some great applicants you guys interviewed, so that's exciting, and
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've,
find a replacement here shortly.
yep. So, yep.
Good.
I got a good one and a backup if that one doesn't work, a real good one.
Good.
So, yeah, looks like we're a deal.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right,
Thanks.
thank you. All right, next up is our public relations, Mackenzie Kramer. Assuming she's on Teams.
Yes, Madam Chairman.
Zooming in.
Her birthday was yesterday, so I think we should sing her happy birthday.
Who's? Mackenzie's? Probably glad when all this impact area stuff is done.
I'm pretty positive that's the reason my blood pressure is so high right now. I live right in the middle of it, and I'm hearing from people every day.
Well, we'll make it better for you.
Well, maybe not in the opinion of those that are contacted.
You can always move out into the county.
Like for 2 years anyway.
Well, I don't know where she's at.
You and
You want me to text her?
I can text her.
you and Fred selling the place, or do you?
No. Well, at least not for 2 years. We're just gonna see how we get along when we fight each other.
Here's
Shows and make decisions from that. We don't have any house payments as long as we live in that house.
well, that's a good thing. Really good thing.
For both of our benefit and our grandkids are right now. But for some reason, one of us finds somebody else and needs to move on.
Lives down the street there too?
Yeah, 2 doors down.
Oh, he does. Oh my goodness. Built-in grandma.
Yes, it is, and I love it. Came and took a nap with me.
Mm.
I go to Nana's house for a nap. I guess that was on Saturday, so I got to sleep with my grandson for a nap.
Oh.
Taking a nap.
She
and-
thought she was on at 11:15. She's gonna join in right now.
Oh, that's correct. She was.
Move her.
Oh, no. 10:45. Yeah, and because I'm trying to keep my blood pressure down, not drinking caffeine. Oh, my headache. I'll tell you what, caffeine withdrawals are no fun. I'm drinking half and half anyway.
You detoxing yourself.
So I guess.
205. That guy works for me. He was 150 over 95 the other day. 26 years old.
Bottom number's really pretty.
Yeah.
Over 90 on the bottom.
Well, I told him, I said, you need to go see the doc.
My blood pressure was 205 over 95. I was going into the city's meeting. And just the day before, or 2 days before, it had been 106 over 60.
But you're on a medication that's supposed to regulate that.
That's what I'm wondering, the medication. Get into the doctor.
Yep, sound like it. Or you wake up dead.
Well, that's kind of negative.
I can hear you. Yeah. Can you hear me? All good. That's all right. As long as you can hear me, we're all right. Oh, good. Well, I can't see you. It's just only slightly awkward. That's fine. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it. Well, for my birthday, I got a sick kid. So anyway, I apologize for not realizing the time switch. They've been dealing with that today. So anyway, always an adventure. I hope so. We got a ways. She's 3, so I don't know if that's comforting or not. Oh gosh. All right. Are we good to go?
Lindsay, we're unmuted.
Okay. Perfect. Well, I'm just gonna zip over the analytics part. For the Facebook page, we are up. We're at about 26,000 impressions for the last 30 days, which is up about 100%. I think a lot of this is due to the rollout of the new content calendar that I had talked about last time. We worked with all the departments and now have a really great system in place where we've basically outlined posts for all 12 months for all of the departments. Some overlap and get multiple a month based on what they've got, but we know for sure we're hitting everybody at least once a month. So that's really increased just the sheer number of posts that we've been doing, which I think accounts for a lot of these big numbers this month. Our engagements are up about 63%, as are our link clicks. So that's really great. We posted 30 individual posts this past 30 days. So basically one a day is where we're going to average. And I would expect that to continue based on the content that we've been sharing. And it's been kind of nice. It feels like there's been a rejuvenation of everyone like sending information, being excited about sending information. So I feel like we've got a good flow going right now. Our top post was about a road dashboard. People always have a lot of things to say about the road dashboard. Unfortunately, the link on the website was incorrect. And so when we posted it, that link was broken. It's since been updated, but part of that engagement was people letting us know, like they tend to do in such a kind way, that our link was broken. So I take that one with a little bit of a grain of salt, but that is our Facebook page. In terms of the website, we're seeing, I mean, really good, access coming through. We've had 7.8 thousand active users in the last 30 days. About 6.8 thousand of those are new users, which is very standard for us. Usually we see about 1,000 individual users that hit the website are recurring users. They've been there before, they're coming back, and then basically the balance of whatever our total is for the month is all new users. This month, what did they look at? They looked at, obviously, the homepage, always the big one. Big in the assessor's office, a lot to do with the property tax relief programs, property assessment and property assessment tax relief were 3 of the most hit pages. We had a lot of the webcam, and then the transfer site was also very big, rightly so, especially toward the latter end of this month when we were talking about the construction that's going to start there. Sheriff and jail also pretty heavily hit pages. They land at number 4 and 5 respectively in our kind of top 10 list. So nothing out of the ordinary that I see there. In terms of where our users are coming from, again, pretty straightforward. Nampa, Boise. We get a lot from Phoenix and Salt Lake City, Seattle, then McCall, and then Englewood for some reason. I'm not sure why that one popped up so big this month. Sometimes that's an anomaly or a bot. So that one I'm going to ignore for this month unless it recurs again next month. So that's our analytics. That's kind of what we've been working on. Honestly, the content calendar has been the big lift for the last several months, but we're finally there. It's like rolling out. So can I answer any questions? Is there anything you guys need additional support on?
Can you see how many actually clicked on an RFP?
I can, if I go through, let me search the pages. Let's see.
We have both the event venue out there, and we also have the construction services. So,
let's see. That's the news page. Oh, I forgot. Okay, sorry. I need to find the actual post
you can just
number.
send it back to me.
Yeah, I can definitely do that. 1490, and see which
If people
one.
are finding them, or what we need.
Okay.
To do to,
We've had 33 people click on the post.
Really?
So that's good. What it doesn't do from that page is it doesn't necessarily let us know how many people then clicked the link on that post to actually read the RFP. But we've had 33 people click to read the post, so we've got that going. I can keep an eye on that if you want. It could also be, if you'd like, we could boost that a little bit and just make sure it's getting out into the world. If you want to do that, or do an additional ad in the newspaper, whatever you want.
One is now closed, but the construction services is still open, and there is
Okay.
another update to the RFP in the paper this week.
Okay,
So,
perfect. all there. Okay. And then our ad will run this week as well. It's kind of funny overlap. We usually do the last Thursday of the month, but this month it's technically on the 1st of May, but it is a recap sort of for what happened in April. So that's hitting this month or this week as well. So sometimes I think it's nice to have multiple pieces in the newspaper. People pay a little bit more attention. So
Do you
Yep.
think if we did a post on that construction services, that we might get more bidders locally?
yeah, for sure. Yeah, we can definitely push that out.
That might be.
I
a good
can,
thing.
let me put that on my list. Yeah, for sure. Gonna do a list here.
Do you get a lot of hits from the McCall area?
We do. It's really tricky because sometimes it's where you're located, sometimes it's where your IP address is routed from. A lot of people that have Sparklight route through Nampa. And so when it says Nampa gets hit a lot, I think that's also some people in Valley County. But we definitely get a lot of people from Valley County as well. It just depends on where their IP addresses. So for this, we say the last 30 days, it said 273 people specifically from McCall. But again, when like reading the data, Nampa is our number one city at 871 active users. I would suspect that half of those are probably from Nampa and half of those are IP addresses routing through Nampa that are actually people based in Valley County. So it's a little tricky when you have to read that kind of stuff. There's really no way to differentiate IP address. It just goes by their city, by their location. So anyway, it's not perfect. It's not a perfect science.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Did Jeremy reach out for PR on the new email yet?
Yep, I just got an email from him this morning. So I'll work with him on that. And yeah, that's a big thing. Big new move.
You are correct.
I just changed my own email address and it's been an adventure, shall we say. But it works. It's gonna be fine.
Don't tell us that. It's a big problem.
It works.
my
It
team.
works. It just takes a minute for everyone to get like reacquainted with it and remember to use the new stuff. So yeah, I can definitely work with him on that. Is there any other programs, projects coming up that you want to make sure that we're promoting?
I'm sure you're working with Johanna on taxes coming up,
Mm-hmm.
assessors. I think it's past time now to apply for exemptions, so therefore,
Yeah.
really past time to do that.
Okay.
An awful lot going on with the county, but just trying to think off the top of my head what. We probably should start updating people on the annex. I don't know when they're going to be in out there yet, but just
Okay.
The Cascade Annex is what that building is called now, and we are working toward getting building and our building department permitting, planning and zoning and assessor down there, hopefully this fall now.
Okay.
Teeing that up so people know what's coming up with that.
Okay. I'll definitely reach out to those departments too and just like make sure that that's on my radar so that we can start messaging that early, not like right when it happens. We'll do it a couple months before and make sure people know what's coming so they know where to go to get all their stuff.
Yes, that would be good.
Okay.
Madam Chairman, Commissioners, we will need to schedule a budget workshop directly with Mackenzie if commissioners are inclined to utilize her services for next fiscal year. Mackenzie did let us know that the contract has not been reviewed for several years and it's probably time that is done. So we will schedule Mackenzie to come attend a budget workshop with the commissioners in the very near future.
That works.
Cool.
And Mackenzie also, I can't remember how we did your contract before, but we're putting everything through our prosecuting attorney. So
Okay.
we should get it over to Brian and see if he needs updates in it.
I have my own contract, I think, and I'm happy to send that or I don't know if you guys prefer to write your own contracts, but I can send mine as the starting point, and then if he has got notes or changes, do you want to work it that way
Yeah.
for the next kind of cycle? Okay.
That sounds perfect. There's certain things we have to have in it now, and I don't know that we did that when we originally did that
Okay.
contract with you, so.
Perfect. Okay. Perfect. I will put that on my list to make sure that I've got that ready to go.
And yeah, that's all I have.
Look at.
Good.
Appreciate it.
Perfect. Well, thank you. Sorry I missed the time change.
No worries.
Been a day. So
We do have, upcoming, as soon as some hires are made, we've got some director positions we're filling. We may want to think about some social media or some kind of announcement around
Yeah.
those new positions, since they are our directors. I think that would be appropriate to let the
Okay,
community
perfect.
know who's coming on board with those, so.
perfect.
in the next
I'll reach
few days
out
Anyway, we'll
and
get
get
some
your-
information.
Okay. Get with Mike and see what they've got. He's got going on. Okay. About.
Why don't you ping HR in the next 30 days?
Yeah. Okay. I'll put that on my list. I've got that written down. That's exciting. And that the annex move, and I'll push out the RFP for the construction services side here today or tomorrow, and see if we can't get some more traction on that.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Great. Thank you.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you.
Great. Talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Let's go ahead and move forward, Dan. We're not on until 11:15, but I think we're good to go. Are you here for something special? Or are you just here to listen, or?
I'm just here to listen.
Okay, perfect.
Well, hello,
Morning,
everyone.
Dan.
You still have a smile on your face, even though it's spring.
Well, I appreciate that.
Even
I'm gonna-
shaved.
And I did shave. Yes, I did. So, a new look for a new time in the county. So I feel revved up and ready to go. So
You shaved and Doug gets a haircut.
I
yeah.
noticed the littlest things.
It is, you know. It's,
Since my action item isn't due for the next 5 minutes, I'll give you kind of an update.
Great.
and all the potholes filled.
Let's see here. All my notes here. Just wanted to inform you, I'm working with the Lakes Irrigation District. This is out at the Carefree subdivision area, which will impact Parson Lane, Rogers Lane, and West Lake Fork Road. So this is where the irrigation district is deciding to completely pipe their system through that whole area. They are asking us to accommodate them in terms of permits, utility permits. And so I'm going through the process with them. One of the main things that we will request from them is a public meeting to associate with this new change in the area. They understand that's the kind of the requirement for the permit. But I wanted to inform you all of what's happening there prior to this going to the public. So I've been kind of reviewing some of their plans in the area. I met with Justin, one of their folks that does a lot of the field work for
He's
them.
actually sitting in the room.
Oh. Hello. So anyhow, we're gonna work with them in terms of their permits, but I wanted to inform you that there'll be a public meeting.
Is this the fluent that they put out on the farmers' fields? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, this would be that area out there. So
No, this isn't about that.
I'm sorry.
This is moving.
Just I'm sorry, irrigation water.
Just irrigation water.
It's just moving it from point A to point B, if I remember the conversation correctly.
Yeah,
It's
so
on
it
public
goes.
right away.
It's roughly in the Pearson Lane area, going through the Carefree subdivision. Then it crosses.
Oh, I
goes-
remember that. We had talked about.
It goes along Rogers Lane, You know, they're still utilizing a lot of their right-of-way off of our public right-of-way, but they wanted to make sure that they get a permit to accommodate any of that work.
There's homeowners concerned in there because it's gonna dry up some ponds, I believe.
I remember,
We
seven-
know
Did-
when
did I
that is.
misspeak or misrepresent?
I remember us having that discussion.
Okay, well, I just got started. Yeah.
And this wasn't even on the agenda, so I'm surprised you guys all knew that this was gonna be a topic. of
Actually,
conversation.
I told them that would be a part of my discussion with you
Okay.
today. So.
But really, do we know, is it on an agenda yet? Do we know?
Not
this
yet,
discussion?
no,
Okay.
just that, make you aware that there is gonna be a public meeting. Okay, so, lots of activity on the West, Roseberry and West Mountain, area, on, was it Wednesday and Thursday? So we actually did get the coring samples done. They did their ground penetrating radar. This is where, was requested to see if they could punch a couple of their core samples out at the annex, which they ended up doing. And fortunately, Scott saved my bacon, Scott Clan, because I had one of the marks right in alignment with the sewer cleanout connection with the. That would have been trouble. So luckily he pointed that out, and we adjusted that, so it wasn't going to be a problem.
Thank you for that. So how soon will it take to get that report back?
I'm going to guess it's going to take maybe 3 to 4 weeks before we get any of the information back. It'll be in a draft form until we're comfortable with the information, and then they'll give us a final report.
Before you go on,
Yeah.
go back to West Roseberry because Lake District is here.
Yeah.
I've spent a lot of time, a lot of energy on all of the flooding that's happening there on Schultz Lane and
Oh,
Cameron.
That was part
You
of
want
the
to
other.
address that?
Well,
Okay.
that so we have
They really-
activity-wise, the guys are out blading, pothole patching, but also there's a crew out at Schultz to try to improve the ditch area in that location that you've been kind of hearing about.
What I'd really like to know, is Cavan's property in Lake Irrigation District or in an irrigation district that you know of? Is Jay Cavan's property that's there off Schultz and Cameron in an irrigation district? Okay. That's, I think, good, what I've been told, so, all right, trying to figure out how to get his ditch mitigated, so. And I think that's the one that Laura Bettis is in charge of,
No, Water
No,
District
65.
65 would be Neil Shippey.
Neil Shippey. May have to get some contact info from you. Yeah, that ditch needs to be fixed, I think, before mitigation, and there was a lot of questions and concerns about our ditch that we put in 5 years ago to try and mitigate this issue,
Yeah.
about it being maintained, and I don't know the answer, if that's an annual maintenance on our part, if we're doing that or not.
That's primarily, I think that's what the crew's out there assessing and trying to improve at Schultz.
I thought they were improving like where the culverts were, the little ditch that's next to Schultz.
I
There is
talked
a-
with Jeff. It sounds like it's further west than those initial culverts as you get on Schultz.
Okay. You might just ask him and have him look into it. So there was a tremendous amount of flooding, and 5 years ago, we built a collection ditch in back of those properties and then moved it off there. But the neighbors are saying that we're not maintaining that collection ditch either. So we need to make sure we have that on a schedule somewhere to
Okay.
maintain that collection ditch. Until we put it in.
I'll go back if you are okay. I'm going
great.
to switch to the action item. So this is the two vehicles for the road department. I believe I've sent the packet around, so it's been reviewed. This is just for the
Thank you
title.
for coming in and seeing us.
Thank you. For the title for both vehicles, so I just need an approval of these two, and then I gotta have you sign them.
Oh, let me,
This was.
is that the Mountain Home Ranch?
Yeah, this is Mountain Home Ranch.
That's
This
the Ford
was
trucks.
through our process back in December. And we're
All
just,
this is in your budget.
yep, it's all in the budget, and it's just to formalize the purchases through Mountain Home on their
Okay.
sale agreement.
And it's all gone through Oki's office?
Yep.
Okay.
120,000,
Yep,
reading that right?
in total,
Mm-hmm.
about 100-ish.
Do I hear a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the sign and purchase order for the vehicle order confirmation on extended through the year.
Second.
I moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
This is for the purchase order.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the next one is. The two of- Is it all, is this all together?
These are two.
So, two purchases. What's the county vehicle use that's extended through the year? On the agenda? Is that all one
Madam Chairman,
motion?
Commissioners, no, that's to request that, I think Dan wanted to present on some employees having some vehicles extended through the end of the year. I don't know, I apologize, Dan, for taking your spot, but that's what I believe that's
So
what it is.
I think what we need to do is amend
So
the
that was two different
motion, however,
things.
'cause Neil put those two
Oh.
things together, so if you can amend your motion.
Yeah, amend
just
my
for
motion
purchase.
to just being, sign the purchase order for the vehicle order.
The amendment has been seconded, so it's been moved and seconded to amend the order. All in favor?
Aye. Yeah, I didn't realize there were two different things there. And we just had a deal with sheriff's office about making sure on the dollar amount. Over 75,000. I think Sherry could answer that from what she heard from Brian.
These
This
should have
is-
already been,
If this isn't relevant to that at all.
well, I think what I heard you say, this was already an RFP done in December.
This
So
was already
This was
done.
already,
Back prior.
It's just doing the final paperwork.
Okay.
yeah, it was already bid.
Making sure we're crossing our T's and dotting our I's.
Absolutely. It's always good questions.
Okay, so.
And now the next action item.
Now the next item. So, just prior to the winter, we actually requested and got approval for Jeff McFadden to use his vehicle to go back and forth at his home because of the emergency responses that he has to make. I'm trying to extend it now for the full year because I think there's an advantage of having him do that, because some of the items are down at Round Valley and down at Smiths Ferry and over in High Valley that he would have to drive all the way back here to get his vehicle and then go to accommodate any emergency. So I'm requesting that we continue on with that just for the end of the year, and then we'll reevaluate whether we do that for the next following.
Is he the only one that needs this accommodation?
Yeah.
James doesn't need it?
No, because James he's right here in the city. So he lives right in the city, so he can easily get one.
So he's using his work truck, he's just taking it home with him.
Yeah, that's what Jeff is doing currently. So I just wanted to request that we, continue on with that. So I would propose that that we approve that, if you all approve that, to extend that. And then what we would do is before the winter, I shouldn't say to the end of the year, but before the next winter hits, let's reassess it and see if we need to do a full year of that.
And what the conversation was last time is that is an employee benefit, so make sure Jeff is claiming that as an employee benefit.
He's fully aware of it. He asked me several questions, and we're getting the answers to him.
I think it's appropriate to do this.
I'll redo that one again. So I'll make a motion that we allow county vehicle usage extended through the end of the 25.
Can you
road
put on there
departments.
specifically for Jeff McFadden?
Jeff McFadden on the road department.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, all in favor? Aye.
Aye. Dan, I got a question, and I've probably asked this before. I saw those two vehicles, and they're both gas burners. I don't know what gas burners are, gallons per mile, but I know what diesels are because I own one. It's a 25. Reason for gas instead of diesel?
Oh, is that a question?
Just asking the question.
I'm not 100% sure of the reasoning for it, but I would imagine it has a lot to do with the cost associated with it.
I mean, it costs us another 9,000, I know,
Yeah,
but longevity wise
It-
and fuel savings,
yeah.
I'm just running the numbers in my
Yeah.
head.
I
We
think it
always
might
trade
be,
them in though at a specific mileage. So, we would have to probably change the county policy to keep a vehicle longer, if it's a diesel.
we would want to, assess it. So, I mean, I can ask Jeff in regards to the reasonings behind the
I'm just about.
I don't know.
As much as you guys drive, I'm just curious about the cost savings from fuel
Mhm.
alone. Would that offset that? Just something to think about.
Yeah, I mean, there might be things associated with the vehicle itself when it needs to get fixed and maintenance of that. So there's probably more to it than
Sure.
part of the reason why we went one way versus the others. But I'll get an answer to you.
I'm just asking a question.
So I've got a few more items here. One of the things I wanted to mention is, and I'm working with Doug in regards to a bid opening. This is our 3 locations where there are culverts where we're going to line. So we'll essentially advertise all 3 at once. The design consultant has completed all of the work. It's in the process now to identify a bid advertisement bid opening. Looks like it's going to be the end of next month when we'll do that. The bids will come in here, and you all will open the bids, and then if I should probably look at it before we award. Just as a quick cursory, and then we can award the low bid on that.
Cool.
So,
Question on, how are you putting out the bid on cutting that S bridge back, that curb back yet?
that is going to be, I'm hoping that will be associated with whatever fix we're going to do at along Roseberry. So it'll be in one contract.
Oh, Okay.
is what I'm hoping, so that the contractor can do it all together. And then we'll obviously do a little work, with additional epoxy spray that we'll apply after that. So I think that it'll be cheaper for us to do that than to actually get that contracted. But that's my plan, is to try to award both contracts at the same time. Then the Abstein Bridge. This is, I'm still waiting to hear that we've got the approval for the extension before I get it out for advertisement. I want to be cautious here, because I don't want us to advertise and they say, well, you don't have your extension, so it's all you in terms of it. So I want to make
Just wait
sure
for the, yeah.
before we go any further that I get that approval. Then lastly, we've got a meeting scheduled at the end of the week, Thursday, meeting Idaho Power out at Gold Dust. We're going to identify the actual, what we need and the connections and what they're going to have to do to get the new building connected. This is over and above any of the contract that is currently out there. So we will discuss with them in terms of overall cost, and we'll have to accommodate that as part of the budget. But it wasn't associated with the contractor contract. So it's
And
just the
normally
hookup,
That's
essentially.
normally outside of contract anyhow, so.
So we'll meet with them, identify that, and then get a cost, and then we'll have to.
I think it's like 600 amp service on that.
I'm thinking that it, maybe 20,000 ish.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess.
Average.
It all depends, and there's a couple of things that we want to make sure of, is some additional poles in the area so that we can hook up our vehicles to over the winter, so that we make sure that they're being fully charged.
Well, they're gonna bring overhead into there.
I'm sorry?
They're bringing overhead into that building?
Well, the current location, I think they're planning on going overhead. That's correct, because I think there is a pole on the yard, kind of where the weed department is. But I don't know if they're going to rerun a line, but I think it's going to be overhead.
Huh? Interesting.
And I think that is it, unless you have questions.
Give us an update on where we are on getting some maintenance done over the winter. Things drying up enough that we're able to get some patching done, and
Yeah, so that's what the guys are doing right now. So we're doing blading all of the roads and pothole patching. We are getting another 2 truckloads of material to help accommodate that. So to try to band-aid some of the really bad locations. So that's what they're currently doing. And as far as I know, the rest of the crew is out at Schultz.
And Dan and I have been talking, he's working on getting a maintenance schedule set up for the county. And I think that's,
Oh, preventative maintenance?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so that we're talking about that. I'm in the process right now is trying to get some additional cost items that we can look at the BST program. We can also look at the seal coats that we are going to need based on the new pavement that just went out last year. We got to seal it. Not to mention, the discussion last Monday with Perpetua, I think it would be a good idea to at least get, Warm Lake in the valley, essentially. Maybe 5. I'm hoping we could get 5 miles of Warm Lake covered. So It's just, we're gonna be doing a lot of, throughout the county, doing a lot of this catch-up work for preventative maintenance because it really, I'm starting to see a lot more pavement failing. And it's not necessarily, yeah, it's old pavement, but I'm more concerned with the initial cracking of a lot of the newer pavement that we're starting to see, and we really need to seal it before the water gets penetrated in there, so.
I don't know how we need to handle it, but I really think that we need to call out, I mean, some of these areas that are in really tough shape, Norwood, you know, what the replacement schedule is for some of that pavement. And because we're not getting SRS funding, you know, I really feel like we need conversation sooner rather than later on those key areas that are gonna require some replacement, what the costs are gonna be. We are gonna have to have a road levy conversation. I'm very concerned because we're not getting SRS.
Yeah.
And a lot of the federal grants right now are on hold. We don't have a grant bucket to go to do some of this work either. Unfortunately, with the way that the state's funding now, the feds are funding now, it's gonna have to come back to local taxpayers, and we need to start having that conversation with them.
Yeah.
And I think if we're gonna do something, we need a workshop now so that we could probably hit a November
It's,
conversation.
I mean, you really need to look at a preventative maintenance. In most jurisdictions, they have a 7-year cycle. So 7 years, it should fully cover all of your existing pavement surfacing. What we can try to do is be more like a 10 to 12 year cycle if the funding isn't as high as it needs to be, but know that we need to be in that sweet spot about 7 years.
Right now, the amount of funding we have just turns the lights on and goes and snow plows.
Yeah.
There
There-
is no funding
Yeah,
to do
it's-
anything more, so.
Well, I've had my long discussion with Doug, and I tried to say, well, this is what we need, and Doug reminds me, well, this is what you got.
He's very good about that. He's very
And he
good
does
for
it very politely, so I appreciate that. But I think what we need to do is look at the bigger picture, see what the full impact is, and then say, this is what budget is, what's our priority. That's where I would come in and say, this is what I think we should be doing. And then I'll allow you guys to chime in and
So
see
do you
what you
need
think.
2 hours to do that, or do you need an hour on a?
Oh, I'm gonna say probably an hour. I think that would be enough. I don't want to, 2 hours might be too much for everybody, but an hour, if I can focus it, we can discuss specific areas that we can.
We did have the parametrics study done, so we do have our master transportation plan review also.
Yeah, that we really need to relook at that as part of the funding component, because I think it's just a full reconstruct of all the roads, and you really need to look at it as a preventative maintenance program, because you don't want to necessarily fiscally tie your hands to every road being reconstructed. That's typically not what the transportation planning should be about. I mean, one of the main things that would be beneficial is a truck route established.
Yep.
And looking at the plan, it didn't accommodate any of that. That would be a benefit, just so that all the trucking community knows what it is. It's built to that standard. And
Great idea.
it's at least a starting point in terms of, you might want to focus more of your attention on those areas, because that's where a lot of your heavy vehicles are.
Yeah, I can talk to you about it later, over in Oregon, we'd hit a patch, and it'd do a patch just like the same size of that whole table right there.
Mhm.
And it was just where it kind of just disintegrated, and they just cut that out, patched it. And it was so smooth, you just go from one to the other, and you didn't even know you're going over a patch. And I know we could do that in a lot of our roads, like out there on West Mountain Road, when you're leaving the city here, and fix areas like that without having to think we have to replace the whole flipping road.
Well, I mean, those are, when you know what your base material is
Yeah.
and it's sufficient enough to hold, and you can easily apply, a preventative maintenance.
And that's where my mind's
Option.
thinking.
But then it may blow apart again because the sub base wasn't,
Sure.
you need to replace it, so.
And I get that. Yeah, I just throwing that out as, at different times, preventive maintenance, that works really well.
Yeah.
Instead of ripping up the world, so.
Yeah.
It saves us a lot of money.
Well, that's the hope, is that's what I'm hopeful that the ground penetrating radar is going to establish what we should be doing on West Roseberry and West.
Sure. Cool.
All right, I've asked Gabby to put it on an upcoming agenda for an hour.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Dan. Have a good day.
Assessor Leeper, you are up next. Property tax exemption applications. Morning. There's one microphone right there. Might work.
And I got a question from last
Jeremy
week.
added more microphones. Awesome.
Got a question for you from last week's. The ones we did for McCall Memorial Hospital and St. Luke's, are any of those parcels are employee housing, or how is employee housing looked at on those parcels?
So, I'm pretty sure Commissioner Mopin asked about that in our last meeting to make sure that they weren't included, correct, on the St. Luke's?
So they are very honest every year when they apply. They'll actually say, parcel number such and such are now employee housing, so we are not applying for an exemption on those. So we'll put those on at full market value like we would any other property. So they've been very honest and forthcoming on which parcels are being used appropriately for the exemption and which ones that shouldn't be received.
And the only reason I'm asking is because we approved all of them, so they just didn't even put that in there. Is that?
Well,
We
we
had-
wouldn't list any parcels that weren't being applied for the exemption.
Oh, I see. So you just leave them out.
Yes.
Okay. Just asking the question. Thank you.
Okay, we have one application from Pilgrim Cove under the 63-602B. So they reported that they used the property for a non-exempt purpose for 112 days. We are recommending that 253 days be exempt and 112 days be.
Now you're showing 3 parcels here, so
It'd be the same for all 3.
for all 3.
Yeah. They're all contiguous, so even though there's 3 parcel numbers, they're one camp.
Got it. Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve, or I always get that messed up. Pilgrim Cove Foundation RP 0032A, RP 003A, and RP 10575 for 112 days assessed and 235 days exempt.
253.
Hmm?
253 days.
I'm sorry, 253. You're right. Can't even read my own writing.
Second.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so the next applications that we received was from the YMCA under 63-602C. They reported that the camp was used for 71 days by another organization. They did bring to my attention, and they wanted me to bring it to yours as well, that the Forest Service used their camps and the firefighters stayed there on the property. I did explain to them that that is still a third-party use. And they felt as though it should be an exempt use since Valley County. I explained to them that I would let them know, or let you guys know, that the firefighters used it for 8 days, but when I crossed over with the prosecutor's office, they agreed that.
Did they charge the Forest Service for
Yes.
the use?
And that's
So,
that's
our
part of the 71.
recommendation, after clarifying with the prosecutor's office, is 71 days, commercial use.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And 294 days exempt.
I would move that we assess 71 days with 253 exempt for the Young Men's Christian Association of Boise on the listed parcels on the agenda.
294 exempt.
294, sorry.
For a second.
Oh, second.
Been moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
So on the stuff that you guys sent, you actually had that you were recommending a partial 112 days and 253 exempt. I think that was what was the one before. So
That was Pilgrim Cove.
yeah, so for the record, if you guys would update that email to us so that we have it in the record correctly, to amend to these meeting minutes.
What are you saying?
It is in the email that Christy sent us. It does say 365 minus 112 equals 253 exempt, so I think it was just copied from the Pilgrim Cove.
Oh, for YMCA? Oh,
Yes. So if you'll
it's
just,
Christie's fault, no, I'm just kidding.
nobody's fault, but
No, no.
for
no,
records
sorry
of,
about that.
yeah, just for our records and to make sure that it's
Is
correct.
that the one, though? I sent a second email.
That was on Pilgrim
saying-
Cove.
No,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, sorry.
Hey, you've done great. There's been a
It's
lot
been
of them
a
this year,
lot.
so, exactly. So, yeah, just update that email for us so that it can be correct for the record.
Oh, I see it. Yep.
Okay, so you're just gonna send a follow-up. So they have- All right, that takes care of the exempt applications. The next item on the list is signing the approval or partial approval or denial letters that we've already heard, not including today. The last 2 weeks.
Neil's gonna ask for a stamp again.
thank you.
Yep.
While we're signing all of those, do you wanna go ahead and do the?
So I just did a little quick so you guys could have it for your records or write on
Thank
it.
you.
These are the dates that I'm proposing. You approve them, but we reversed it.
It's Sue, the July 14th. So we have moved those meeting dates, so that's gonna be the 16th. So do we have to meet
So by
on the
Idaho
14th?
We have to be done with BOE by the second Monday in July. So if you have, if that's the week that you moved to Wednesdays,
Yes.
we will have to hear, or if there's any stragglers.
So July 7th is gonna be your last date to do all of those.
Once, July 2nd, and then
Okay, so.
July 14th.
Okay.
So why such a big spread, or is that through the 14th?
I just wanted you to know that any stragglers we could hear on that second Monday in July, because that's the deadline
Oh,
for Idaho code that we have to adjourn.
I follow you. Yep.
So if we have to, we may have to call a special meeting that day just to hear those.
If there are any.
If there are any.
I just wanted to bring to your attention that we had to adjourn by the end of business that day per Idaho code.
Mhm.
And so what is the cutoff? I mean, that wouldn't be somebody doing some kind of a late filing that we don't
Oh,
control.
no, they have
We
to
just have to
file their
get them.
appeal by the fourth Monday in June by 5 PM,
Okay,
which I believe is June 23rd.
so if we have to, we will have to go late on a couple of these other days if we get
Yes.
a lot.
Yep.
Okay, or we can schedule on the 14th a specialty meeting, so.
If we had to.
Can we start these days at 8?
Sure. Fine by me.
Can we do what?
Start these BOE days at 8 AM?
Said by the person that lives in Cascade.
I would gladly drive to McCall if it meant we got to start at 8.
Neil doesn't care. I'm on the job site by 8 anyhow. So.
I will make it a point.
Okay, now I need to stamp. This is ridiculous.
We're almost done, Neil.
Could you imagine if they were all presented to you, like, from the
the
last
beginning,
2 months?
Once,
That'd be ridiculous.
Here, let me move this out of your way.
I think the BOE letters might be interesting without a stamp. That's when El really liked his stamp. So, do you want to schedule some time on July 7th?
We can always pull it off.
Yeah.
So, yeah. why
Instead of the
don't we?
14th, we probably should put it on the 7th.
Yeah.
And then just
I
make
think
sure
that
that,
would be more appropriate.
that way Gabby and Doug can also have a heads up that there may be some things on that we
Okay.
need to
So instead of
reserve
July
some-
14th, we'll put July 7th.
correct.
And then if something absolutely pressing came in, I guess we'd have to call a special.
Madam Chairman, Commissioners, if you recall, we already have that Monday meeting scheduled. Okay. Make sure you get.
Yeah, that's Johanna's
Next
meeting, and we
meeting,
will
yeah.
have to have regular commissioner meeting that day,
Yeah.
so. Okay, so June 25th, 26th,
Thursday.
1st, 2nd, okay?
We can get them all done one day, can't we?
Don't jinx this, Neil. It just depends on how many.
What was
appeals
the
we-
highest one that we've had in the last few years? Wasn't it like 3,000,
Actually 4.
4,000? So don't
But
jinx
that's
us.
been a long time. Yeah. Be careful. Don't jinx this.
We can wish.
I mean, the values are changing a bit, but not drastically at all. So Lakefront will probably be, the pay at Lakefront is probably gonna go up the most. We've been quite low on Lakefront for quite a while now, so we're just playing catch up. That's probably gonna,
You guys are so good. You'll just.
but we have plenty of data to back it up, so that's what matters.
Yep.
So I would take a motion to approve these meeting dates,
So moved.
Seconded.
BOE. So we are June 25th, June 26th, July 1st, July 2nd, and if needed, July 7th, some specialty time. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Doug, you got those, okay? Okay.
BOE.
All right.
So excited.
Next up is approval of, oh, do you guys have anything else for us? Sorry, I just walked right on over. Yeah.
Thank you.
Next up is meeting minutes of April 21st. Anybody see any corrections there?
I did not have any.
I don't either.
Oh, Kirsten, she did a good job.
You did a very good job.
Appreciate that.
Make a motion to approve or accept the meeting minutes of April 21st, 2025.
Second.
And moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
And then let's go back to the sheriff vehicle purchase. Now that we have legal on that.
Did you
that
find
is-
out?
So Brian said that because it is, if it was under 75,000, then we would be able to go ahead and go with the local bid.
Under
Because,
75 per vehicle. Is
uh,
that correct? Or for the whole lot?
Under 75 for, if you are approving something under 75, be it one vehicle, two vehicles, whatever, you don't have to go out for an RFP.
Right?
But if it's over 75, you have to take low bid.
Oh, I get that. It was just, I'm saying,
So, and they did 2 vehicles at once, so it's over.
that's what I mean. Could they ask for one vehicle and ask for another? Or do they have to do it in a lump sum? Because lump sum puts you right over 75,000 every time.
What his comment was, you can't break up a bid in order to get to under 75.
So like this next year where they're asking for 3,
You do it at 3 separate times.
that's breaking up the bid.
It is. So that's, we're not supposed to be doing that. You need 3 vehicles, you need 3 vehicles, you put it out for bid.
I'm fine with going with the lowest bid as long as they do put it out to bid and do like a legitimate bid process where no numbers are being shared or anything like that,
Yeah.
like how it should be.
And I think that's the way
Oh,
it's always
probably.
been done. Yeah,
No, that's what I'm getting at.
okay. So yes, we do have to take lowest bid, so we do have to take the Mountain Home Auto Ranch bid.
Doug, did that change? Well, it won't change till July 1st. Because I think the legislature pushed it up to 250, is that
I
correct?
think that is for actually contracted work, I believe, Commissioner Thompson, but I'll need to review the legislation. Prosecuting Attorney's Office review the legislation to see if it is for purchases or if that's for actual work.
So it might be they don't have to have a public works license for anything under the 250.
That's what I understand, that's what that is.
It might well be. Okay, so the sheriff presented 2 vehicle purchases. No, that was Dan's. I don't have the amount
That was,
from last week, wasn't it?
yeah. That was with the sheriff's office.
It's 82,456. No, sorry, 79,904.
9904.
Is that in our packet? I don't think it is.
It's
is it?
from last week.
Oh.
We packed it last week.
I don't have that.
Okay, so I do
Okay.
hear a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion that we approve, where am I at? Sheriff's Office vehicle purchase for the one vehicle from the sheriff's account, is that correct?
Capital.
Capital account, and the other vehicle from Pilt.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and that being our last item, we will adjourn for lunch and see you back at 1 o'clock.